this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Representative Town Meeting Rules Committee. And the first item on the agenda is approval of the May 20 minutes. Can I have a motion in favor, please?
So
Okay, and a second? Corrections, additions, subtraction, or whatever?
I have a few changes here, Mr. Swenson, which I can read for the group.
Mr. Morton, I
Oh, I see. This is really Mr. Swenson ducking.
in defense of myself, instead of boring everybody, last time I went over something, I got moans from the committee, so I simply gave Mr. Adeletta what I thought might be some suggestions, and not substantive, but grammatical. And I said to him, he can pick and choose what he wants. He wants to just toss it all out, he can toss it all out. But I didn't change anything in substance, Seth.
Well, having spent years being corrected by you, I'm now glad not to be in that situation.
Well,
Welcome, Jack. Good to see you.
It's a rules committee, but we're really quite unruly when we come.
No, yeah.
Actually, there's nothing here in substance. And some of it-
Okay.
No, it's not this substance.
We'll just
Edits.
we'll just say common edits. With common edits, then those in favor of approving the minutes. Okay. Looks unanimous to me. Noes? Abstentions? I don't see any. Great. Next item, Joanne Hennessy has resigned from the RTM, and so we want to have an election for vice chair of the Rules Committee. So may I have a nomination?
No, I'm assuming you're to nominate.
This would just go, and you're going to be vice chair until the next election. But,
I'd like to nominate Lois Schneider.
Second.
Third.
any other nominations? I'll accept that without objection we'll close the nominations.
Swenson. We just get the second by Jack.
No, actually,
Who was second?
So
I thirded it.
Lois Schneider is the vice chair by acclamation.
Yay.
Thank you for taking that. She now, of course, is also the backup moderator as well. It's she has two hats.
I learned
So
that.
just-
Were you the backup moderator?
You got some practice.
Up a notch.
Oh, wait a minute, excuse me.
May I make
Mr.
one
Davis has a comment.
little comment? Joanne moved to New Canaan. There has been rumors going around town hall. I actually know who did it. It's by an elected official. That I moved to New Canaan. And that I don't live in town, and actually somebody asked the Register of Voters to remove me from the rolls.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Wow. That's ugly.
Yeah, we can figure out why. I live in town. Anyone who wants to stop by for tea,
Come back for
coffee,
coffee.
or scotch, let me know.
Well, I might do that.
Okay, all right then.
Come on, man.
I have not seen any formal written document protesting.
Don't go,
So
don't go
Don't
there.
go there.
I'm just
Don't go there.
saying.
That was an orchestrated event.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to make clear that.
Because there's a $3 to $5 million cost to the town based upon the most recent email.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jack.
We gotta
I'm
wait
going to
till
put that
next
under
time.
announcements. I didn't have that on the agenda.
Seth?
Yes.
Regarding Joanne, she's also, that's kind of why I'm here, is that she's coming off, basic District 5 now is short someone for rules. And I kind of came here to ask advice. Do I need to have an election for someone to be on for
Yes.
one? So I should do that,
Yes.
even though we're coming up on elections?
Yes.
So we'll have a caucus and do that then.
Thank you. That's great.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so pending items and assigning committees. Rescinding the authorization of the bond resolution for the DHS storage facility.
I
Yes.
think that In this particular case, I sent you some additional information.
I saw that, thank you for that, Jack. Very nice.
The Board of Ed took a formal vote on June 25th to reduce, no longer request the shed. In this particular case, it was a capital request, and therefore education should be first because they would have reported on capital. The bonding aspect of it was solely at the discretion of the Board of Finance and will be secondary because in reality, they were just saying, hey, at this time, we don't want to pursue this shed initiative. It does not preclude the Board of Ed from coming back with some other solution down the road. But since the Board of Finance then subsequently said, oh, we can bond this, that's where we'll come in. But it really is not a bonding issue, it's really a capital issue first. So I would put education primary and F&B secondary.
And education
Okay.
is meeting next Monday.
Yeah, so.
Excuse me, Seth, if I can interrupt. Does
Yeah,
anyone
just-
have a copy of the agenda? My electronics are not
There you
working
go.
here. Thank you, Mitch. So I'm blind right now, flying blind, but I got it with me.
There you go.
So this way I'm switching it. because,
Yeah.
Do you know why they didn't do it?
I don't think they like the design. I think that, I think there were some other things as to what was originally proposed was going to be overly expensive. Bert von Steubenagel never liked it on our committee, so he was, I'm sure, ecstatic when he's gonna hear this. I believe he may have actually voted in our little round table, not in favor of it. So, but I think it's just they didn't like the design and its location, and they think that they may come up with a better solution. And Dennis, by the way, is now the facilities chair on the Board of Ed subcommittee. Yeah.
Okay, so a motion to assign Ed primary and F&B secondary.
So move.
Second.
Second, okay. Tell me when. All those in favor? Thank you, it looks unanimous. I see no objections, no
Who was
abstentions.
second on that? Thank you.
Next item is increasing fines for false fire alarms. We got Public Works, I guess? And F&B?
No,
Can
we say public health and safety?
TH&S?
Yeah.
And then F&B.
F&B. Just a little aside, we used to be limited on what we could charge based upon state statute. And someplace along the line, they increased the state statute. That being said, the fine is never viewed as a revenue source in the town. It never has been and will continue to be there. But I'm actually thinking, I have a meeting, if you want, on Monday. And
So do it joint.
yeah, maybe I can get Bob Bush, who's the driver of that, to come join us.
Okay.
Okay, so, yes, Frank.
When this came out, I corresponded with Wayne on
You guys may-
this, and I'd like to volunteer. It pains me to do it,
Yeah,
but to come up with the first crack at the language, and then share it with the other committees that you mentioned, to see how we're going.
So, but.
I just thought that this was a straight town council.
I did too.
I called,
Let him do it,
yeah,
then fine.
But we should put TGS on it also.
Yeah, I think you're raising a very good point. It is the fee in the ordinance? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
The fees that are in Appendix D right now, which is in
Yeah.
Table 5, they're set, but like you have a false alarm, you have a fine.
right.
And
Yeah,
that's
but
what
now
I-
there's gonna be 3 levels.
Right, so you have to go back up into the ordinance and change it.
So why don't we have TGS&A review town council and put them as a secondary committee since we
Yeah.
are dealing with the ordinance?
Yeah,
It may just be a
That'll
review,
work, yeah.
but
But can we just do we have to vote on the ordinance as in the RTM?
Oh, yeah. I think
Yeah.
what we'll come up, what
So
we'll
that'll be
come up
follow
with
on
is,
to this whole thing, or is that gonna be the same night?
pardon me?
You can do it the same night that we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it will be in order for this meeting, but the goal would be to have it
Yeah,
come back to us and then put on part of the next RTM meeting.
when, they wanna do this in September.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, but it's doable. I think Wayne can come up with the language. I don't think it's anything complex.
So that actually means to get on the warning,
Yes,
has to be done in a week.
it will be done, it'll be on the warning tomorrow. It has to be done tomorrow.
Right, but does the ordinance need to be, if we change something like that,
We can put it on the agenda.
I'm not worried about the agenda, I'm
Yeah,
wondering,
right.
do we have to give notice?
Well, again, let's review.
Usually it's 30 days.
Does the warning that goes out
Hmm.
have the text of what we'll be considering?
Won't yet, no.
Can't
It's
have
just
it
as a
that
the warning is a topic, but it won't have it can't. We don't have it.
Okay. So then by what date does the actual text have to be available?
By next Monday,
Yeah.
the latest.
A little tight for everybody concerned, town council, the other committees.
Yeah, well, I don't.
No, we're gonna look at it
Doesn't,
next Monday.
That doesn't seem to be reasonable to accept that deadline,
Well, my,
considering what has to be done. It has to be drafted, has to go to town council, then has to go to the secondary committees,
if they
and then come
can,
back to rules committee before it actually goes out.
yeah,
Why would rules have something on the
Yeah.
agenda that isn't correct?
well, you just withdraw it
Yeah.
if it isn't ready.
That's no way to work. I mean,
Well-
put something out. and
Well, I'm trying to
somebody finds a
accommodate,
flaw in it.
I'm just trying to accommodate.
What is the motivation for getting this done in September?
Just trying to accommodate, the town administrator and the,
I can get,
That
no,
might
no,
be time
this,
for some pushback, because they let us, they gave us this material today,
mm-hmm,
and they're setting up a schedule that,
yeah.
quite frankly, jerks us around.
Yeah,
the,
I don't want that.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be a nice way to work.
I'm not, I don't disagree with anything you said, but I can give a little bit more background because Kate and I were emailing. The Board of Selectmen are reviewing this today. They first looked at it as you saw sometime back in early August. Part of the rationale for having the 3 levels is that a large percentage of the fire false alarms are done by a small group of people multiple times. So they're trying to have the people focus on that sooner rather than later. And that's the motivation for it.
While that is a very good motivation, I don't disagree with it, it's not like a union contract, and it's not like the budget. It's something that can be duly considered and prepared on an orderly basis and put on next meeting, rather than, well, I don't know how we could do it by next Monday. But it's not to argue whether we should do it or not.
Right.
It's that, look at the bodies that have to kind of get involved with changing an ordinance.
Yeah, I mean, I kind
Yeah.
of agree with him,
Yeah.
like, the Board of Selectmen can't say, hey, we're gonna do this, but I know you need to approve it, but do it now. And, if it's an ordinance change, your committee needs to look at it in a week, to do it, I think is a too short amount of time.
If it wasn't for changing the ordinance, I'm sure Max Committee and F&B
Right.
could easily do it.
Right.
It's the difficulty associated with the ordinance that I would agree with Frank.
all right, well, then let's do it that way.
Okay.
My shoulders are broad, and when the screaming starts tomorrow, I'm saying, look, this is the way we're gonna do it.
We want to do a good job.
We were doing a good job, exactly.
We're still gonna do the same thing, we're just gonna do it on a.
Yeah, all right, no,
Just
it
in
makes
any event,
sense.
does it come back
Makes
to the
sense.
rules committee after you
Pardon me?
draft? Does it come back to the rules committee
Yeah.
after you draft it?
Well, it's already drafted, there's already an ordinance, you just have to revise the ordinance.
You know what? I don't know that it has to.
Okay,
But
I'm
I
just
think-
curious, I'm not trying to
I think it would be
change
nice
Okay.
if we have a draft of something for rules to look at and say, yeah, we'll put it on the agenda or not. That's what we do. We had to have something on the
Yeah,
table.
because
Well, I have
the
not heard
language-
anything that said that we're gonna have a major problem here if this thing, goes in October, so,
It's not a contract.
Yeah.
It's not a-
okay.
And it does need to, the ordinance needs to be changed, because now there will be 3 levels of fines, where in the old ordinance, it was, you're fined $100, that's it. I paid one of those.
Defer to October.
Yeah, and it's public health and safety, F&B and TGS&A.
Yeah.
But we should still meet,
Yeah, yeah, if I can
Yeah.
get Bob there,
you know?
if not, I think I have Kate,
Okay.
so.
We in?
We're in.
All
Ready
right.
for-
Motion then to assign public health and safety primary with F&B and TGS&A. TGS&A doing the word work.
To take the initial draft and circulate it to the
I'll
other
second.
people.
Okay, all in favor? Looks unanimous, opposed, I don't see any abstentions, okay.
We can deal with the latter part when we set the agenda.
Acceptance of private funds for the 2020 bicentennial celebration. F&B,
No, I
You wanna-
wanted to speak to Adele on this. Another thing that as soon as I saw it, I actually have the resolution on this, and there's 2 parts to it. First of all, there is a bicentennial committee that I believe reports to the Board of Selectmen. I gotta imagine that they're working with Park and Rec in some phase with it. I don't know if you've heard anything.
Well, I think it's because of at least the part where it's the, no, I haven't heard much.
Okay.
Then I've been gone this summer too, so I've only looked at the TV. But I know that certainly it's gonna, Wee Beach Fest is gonna be a big part of the celebration. So
So-
certainly the Park and Rec will be.
This actually caught me by surprise, because not the actual thing, but I thought we were talking about something else, and then I saw what the resolution says, and I'll try and pass it around. The resolution is requesting, I believe, $75,000
Right.
for an appropriation.
you all have copies. as I
So,
said.
all right, it wasn't on the original one, so, so 75 for the appropriation. Now, there has been a change in our donation policy. Part of that was consistent with when F&B worked with Board of Finance to clean up some of the reserve accounts and gifts and that, is that if gifts are accepted for a particular purpose, and that purpose was, you have a little residual left over, or you have any residual left over, the funds will be transferred to the general fund with whatever excess balance you have. Now, it made sense in Park and Rec, because you give $3,000 for a bench and it costs $2,897. What do you do with the rest of it? And it's too much to account. In this particular case, I don't know the full accounting will have that. I believe it may be a separate fund set up for it, but we only have one bicentennial. So if we didn't have that, the money would sit there like forever. So that was part of the policy that was changed by Kate and Jen and approved, I believe, by the Board of Selectmen earlier this year. And F&B was aware of that change. So that's, I don't know if we're gonna report, I don't know if Park and Rec might also want to report on that. But I don't know what information or how it's being run. Otherwise, we'll
I don't know
handle it.
anything. I just-
That will
It seems to be that we can make a decision, do it, Why not?
I mean,
There's, I think discussing the celebration
Exactly,
would
yeah.
come your direction, and then Jack can talk about the money.
yeah,
All right, so we'll make P&R and Jack.
F&B. I represent a bunch of really good people. It's not the Jack Committee.
Okay, any others? We think 2 is fine, right?
Yep.
Okay, those in favor, Park and Rec primary, F&B secondary?
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
I make a motion, how about that?
I thought he'd already done it.
Pick one.
Jack will make the motion.
Okay, second,
I'll-
thank you.
Who? Oh. Thank you.
All in favor?
Okay.
Unanimous, I see no objection. Okay, next is just simply, what I will do is reach out to these folks, David, and to the folks from Federal, and see if we can get an update from them in October. And then that will come up, we'll formally put it on the agenda next, at our October meeting.
Oh, it's for October? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're not ready,
Yeah, right.
you know.
Not,
And also Mike's sent me a note about looking at some of these other projects that are going on and see if we can get updates on them if they're.
Well, one that was separate from that Jeremy gave a presentation as part of our sustainability project that the board said they wanted to spread to the RTM, which was really a fascinating report on going back into where real estate in Darien stood and comparing us to the rest of the towns and why rates are going to be affected. So it was a very good 10-minute summary report he did to the Board of Selectmen that they said they'd like distributed to the RTM and other committees. And then I just, for 5 minutes, it's been a long summer, what happened with Highland Park, what happened, or Highland Farms rather, and a quick update on the Oxford schools. Did everything get in for the school, for the state grant, and how did that process go? And Parks and Recreation, the Pear Point, is anyone who's watched or attended the meetings, I think it'd be interesting to just tell people what the process is going to be going forward, because it's going to be controversial.
If I agree again with everything you said, but I wouldn't want it all in one meeting because I think things get lost. I agree that Pear Tree may have some controversy associated with it, but that might be a separate meeting. I was going to suggest that you speak, I was going to say with Cindy, but he's no longer chair, but with the new chair, because I think that that presentation from Jeremy would be good for October, and rather than having the three people come in, because they're all in different stages, there's funding and other things that are going on, that,
You could cover them.
he might be able to better cover them, and probably contacting the new chair of P&Z would also, I'm not sure. But even asking Alvani to participate would be great as a former RTM member.
Yeah.
And,
So not ask Genevieve
No, I don't, because, first of all, I don't think Federated is gonna show up. They're a major corporation. So, and then, where I refer to it as the Palmers, but where Palmers is different than where David is. And they all have their own, I don't wanna say issues, but they have their own things that they have to accomplish. So I think that Jeremy and P&Z would probably, the chair would be in a better position to explain the status of all three of them, because they're tracking them. Yeah, because I don't think we'll get Federated in here.
Are they doing it?
They're doing stuff, because I work out at Equinox and they've already started doing stuff around there.
All right,
Like
Good.
moving
We got a
moving
plan.
the post office trailer.
That's not that.
but we'll have more to say in
No, let's
our October rules meeting, because this will go on the October agenda, so that's great.
Yeah, and they probably will tell us what makes sense for them. But I do think that sooner rather than later, Pear Tree is worthy of a conversation. There were changes. I can give you some information.
I watched the news.
Yeah, you saw that there was changes on the building committee.
Right.
I
That
think
was
when
approved.
when we manage to hone in on where we're gonna go, then it'll be a good time to update. We've been circling back.
Okay, well, we'll try and get it when we're beyond the circling stage. Okay.
But at least from Highland Farms
Yeah.
and where's the status of that? And the schools, they did make progress and they did get all their stuff in on time, but we had to rush to do a vote. So a 5-minute update of where they are, because they are now at the design phase. That 5-minute update from Kip, I don't think would be out of place. And not more than 5, but it's
All right.
important.
I'll line this up, so when, I'll get to, kind of like time blocks and discussion, and then you guys can, we make a decision
We
here.
may not have a lot in October to do anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, it might be just a long meeting of briefings, too.
That's
okay.
Yeah. Not a bad thing.
important too.
The good news is the newspaper with Hearst ownership is getting better, and they are covering more things now. But in reality, rumors spread, and to tell 100 people what's happening in key projects, and we timestamp all the RTM meetings now so people can go into a specific subject to hear the update. And then it's on Facebook with that update. Does a better job of spreading accurate information that newspapers used to do, but don't anymore. So we've got to use technology
I agree.
to spread accurate information and not what one person hears from someone else.
So the items you listed, I've got the Oxford application update, I've got the Pear Tree Point Building Committee update. Was there a third?
Highland
Yeah.
Farms.
And well, there was a fourth in terms of the conversation seems to be starting in terms of Darien Foundation's gift to Weed Beach and the boardwalk that they're gonna build.
Oh, for Pear Tree.
Yeah.
No,
No,
for
Weed Beach.
weed.
They're
There's a Weed
building-
Beach that they're gonna, it's a substantial
Oh,
donation.
that's
It's
Foundation.
a $500,000.
Is
It's
that
a-
on the
It's-
Short Lane property?
Yeah, it's a half.
Partially, it's on the
Uh,
short
for the,
lane,
athletic-
but the
athletic.
rest
That
of
was
the
what
walk
they,
goes all the
that's
rest
what
of
they
the
were
way.
talking about for years, that they haven't,
But it's a $500,000.
Yeah.
so we'll see that.
I assume the track got done, but I don't, the cross-country track.
I don't think it's gotten done yet.
No.
So, I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
updates, maybe education.
Yeah, because the,
Updates on those.
I just drove by Highland, I think this weekend, and I was trying to see whether or not they started on the
No.
parking, and they hadn't done that yet.
No.
It's
I
just
looked
kind of
today.
roped off piece, I don't know.
Oh, it's the same, but they were significant. It was a mess after the, after the horse show. So it's been significant efforts to bring it back up to speed, which it looks great.
Yeah, there was some.
So, but I would like to hear about that.
Joanne raised, Joanne and I had some conversations before she had to resign, because I know she was looking in town. But Joanne raised certain really important issues for future that I think is worthy of noting. Joanne Hennessy. And, she said that she's still gonna miss this, but she's more than willing to help out whenever she can. And on contracts, that's a big miss.
Yeah. All right. So the next item is the defined contribution plan for a specific group of employees, people who were retired and then might come back in and wouldn't fall into the pension plan if they were, for example, people who are running the phones and, coordinating that.
Civilian dispatch.
Yeah, using civilian dispatchers. I wondered if there was, as I thought about this, whether there would be situations where you have somebody who's already receiving a pension, maybe from the town, retired, and then comes back as a dispatcher, and would under this be entitled to another pension.
That is why when we did the police union contract, they put in this.
Didn't have a chance to call you before.
They put this in anticipation of the civilian dispatch and potentially using retired police officers who might already be drawing a police pension. And so this allows them to still contribute to a pension plan without affecting their other one, because they couldn't be on the other plan anymore. So, and it's a self-directed, I spoke to Kate, it will be self-directed. It appears that we're gonna be using the same group that does our other pension plans and the police are familiar with. So they'll have the same basic investments that they're already familiar if they want to self-direct.
I think it is the same product
So, yeah,
that we use for,
yeah,
all right.
so,
It makes sense.
do you want to?
So we got F&B, you wanna
Yeah,
kick
we
that
can
off,
handle
and then the PH&S, wanna,
I mean, we could, I mean, I don't know what we really can weigh in.
okay, I'm just
It's a
giving you a
financial
shot.
commitment.
Yeah,
F&B, all right.
yeah, I'll work out with Kate, because that's part of the reason why I asked Kate to be there. But if we're having joint, Kate can explain that aspect to it as well.
Jack, is this an existing plan or is this an incremental
A new-
plan that needs to be
new
monitored?
implemented.
Is there a cost to, in addition to the contributions, is there a cost to monitor?
There is no cost to us. I asked whether or not there would be a pension board, and the answer is no, because we're not directing. I believe that who decides what the investments are is basically HR for that matter, but we'll get more information on that. But the individuals do their own investing. All the town does is say, here are the funds you can invest in.
So staff takes care of all the administrative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right then, a motion to make F&B primary, and no, we don't have a secondary on that?
No, no.
Somebody
I can second
who's
it.
gonna be the mover, okay, we have Teresa being the mover. A second, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Is this gonna be on September?
Opposed? I
Yes.
don't see any, no, I don't see any abstentions, it's unanimous. Okay, so, now, question, somebody?
I was asking, is that gonna be in September, because it,
Yeah. Yep, September. We'll set the agenda now for September. So, I just sort of put this, I thought it was good to put something down to start with, so I listed these for you. The only thing that comes out as I see it is increasing the fines for the false alarms at this point. So, we've got bond rescission, exception of the private funds for the bicentennial, and the defined contribution plan. Does that sound okay for everybody?
We could do some of the updates.
yeah, it's gonna be short.
Yeah, why don't-
It's gonna be a
You
short.
want me to put some
We
updates?
did the updates in September, it's the end of.
All right,
Okay, so those
I
three in
think
that
the
order.
Jeremy update would be a great thing.
Yeah, Christine.
It was good.
He's really good.
He's really good.
I'll put the updates first too, by the way.
Well, don't do all of them.
No.
If we
I'll
can get
be
Jeremy,
Jeremy's
Leave out Perry.
Jeremy,
yeah,
Leave out Perry.
we're gonna shoot for we wanna shoot for Jeremy, and he'll cover, what are we gonna have him cover?
Well, the
what?
Yeah.
the presentation he did that he had to give as part of the sustainability presentation for the
Okay.
town to get a bronze designation. He had to do a lot of research that he had never said he'd really never looked at before,
Okay,
and why he thinks our home values
all right.
are going to increase.
Any others?
Would it be good to have
Put him
such
first.
Yeah, Frank?
would it be good to have such a nifty presentation last to keep people from leaving?
No, I guess it's, he's an employee, we generally try and let the employees have.
Jeremy works such long hours, and he's here, and,
Oh,
you know,
okay, all right.
I mean, I actually saw him one Friday
No,
before our
I-
3-day weekend at
I-
5, 6 o'clock looking at a
I
project.
didn't take that into
Let him go
account.
home.
Do you want him to talk about the building stuff, or is that gonna be different?
I think he,
That's all.
if he can, talking about the buildings at the same time, and then you have a Jeremy and a P and Z presentation, that would be sufficient, and then we move the rest of the stuff into October.
Okay, so
Well, we
which,
can have the update from Kip.
Well, wait a second, one way of approaching it then is to ask him to give the sustainability presentation to the RTM.
Right,
And just, it would be easier for him to think about, yes, I've already done this. So
Right.
So it's easier to put together. But second, is there anything missing from that presentation that we ought to hear too?
Okay,
That would be the conversation maybe.
yeah, that's very good.
That's the
Okay.
thought.
Sustainability presentation.
And any other topics he thought,
Were essential for us to consider at this time.
yeah.
But that's not gonna include
Maybe.
the building stuff, or it
Well,
is?
I think you can ask the new chair whether or not it's worthwhile to give us a status on the 3 buildings, because like, I think you're right, there's a whole bunch of rumors going on and what's going on here and what's not, and what's holding up this one versus that one. So, and when shovels going into the ground and blah, 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 blah.
So that's Federal, Palmer's, and
Corbin.
And
Corbin. Okay,
And it's also appropriate because right now is when they're starting to develop the budget.
Yeah.
And we've been carrying $750,000 of building fees for the last 3 years. A lot of it based upon these things moving forward.
So those are the 2 items, categorically, the sustainability presentation
And
and
the
the
building
update on the 3
projects.
projects.
yeah.
And unless you could get Highland Farms and Kip to do Oxridge.
Why don't you hold?
Why
it?
don't we wait for that until October, because I feel like
Yeah.
that might be, that might end up inadvertently being a long discussion.
Yeah, I think I would think we're loading it up, but we don't have
I
to.
think we're doing very well in our timing on the sessions.
Got it. And those are first.
Yeah, so they go first.
And I think RTM
And then-
members might be more interested in the 3 projects, because they're like in our, you know,
They're in our face.
Right in
they're in our
right in your
faces. I
breadbasket,
mean,
yeah.
Heights Road is, you know, half of it's empty. It's not, so.
That's right.
Okay. Good, so a motion to set the agenda. We have the updates, the bond, acceptance of private funds, and defined contribution. Can I have a motion, please? Lois, second? Okay,
You do.
Gary's got it? No, but you're taking notes, I'll. All in favor, please? Opposed? I see none, unanimous. Other business? I'll take a motion to adjourn. I got one from Lois, the
We don't need
second.
a-
Why are we so efficient tonight? Wow.
I will tell you, you're talking about
Did I say that out loud?
from Stanford.
All in favor, please rise.